Hello everyone. Today we will discuss the potential of cloud adoption in Japan, particularly focusing on market understanding and strategy analysis for selling and implementing SaaS solutions. I'm Satoshi Yokota, founder and CEO of Classmethod from Japan. Today, I will present with my colleague Takeda-san. This is a very special moment for me, and I'm honored to be here and part of the AWS Invent session series. First, I will briefly introduce our company. Then, Takeda-san will present our market analysis and best practice for succeeding in the Japanese market. Let's begin. I started Classmethod in 2004 as a system integrator. In 2008, we started building everything in the cloud. We learned a lot about AWS, and then started helping other enterprise customers use AWS. Currently, we have 4,000 employee customers, enterprise customers, nearly 1,000 employees, and over 50 SaaS alliance partners. In our 50 years with AWS, we have achieved continuous growth with the expanding cloud market. Our next target is $1 billion in revenue as the market size exceeds $60 billion in Japan and continues to expand. Our growth is supported by our strong developer community. Our technical website has over 20,000 practical AWS articles and has become one of the main resources for engineers in Japan. Our mission has three parts: finding great technology partners, bringing their solution to clients, and helping engineers use these technologies. Our goal is to help everyone with their cloud journey and build a place where clients, developers, and partners can succeed together. Next, Takeda-san will share more insight about SaaS companies entering the Japanese market. Thank you.
Thank you, Yokota-san. Just one moment. Yep. From now on, it's my turn. Thank you for having time today. I started my part of this presentation. First of all, the session of the objectives. In the beginning, today we have the two session of the objectives. First, understanding the initiatives of Japanese cloud integrator. And secondly, learn what SaaS companies need to be aware of when entering the Japanese market. So Japan has a very long history and traditions. It affects the business scene as well. So then to dig the Japanese culture, I will introduce you to Strange Japan. First of all, we have to check where the Japanese position in the global. So you can see the first position of the GDP in the United States, surely. And second, China, India, Germany. Japan is a fifth place right now. The share of global GDP is still 3.6. Compared with the other prospect, this is the population and not only the GDP, the urbanization rate and the internet penetration. So compared with the US, you can realize the urbanization rate is higher than United States, and also the internet penetrations. The Toyota, Sony, Uniqlo, Honda, Panasonic, Capcom, Canon, Nintendo, Konami. Yeah, so that we have very famous companies in Japan, and some of them are manufacturers, and some of them are from the game industry. So such kind of game industry is really important for the cloud computing. The transaction is really high or heavy. So then, 6 benefits of single marketing in Japan is tips, can be the tips. First one is a consistent language. We use only Japanese. One country, as you have seen, the 125 population use just one language. And also the high urban concentration. So Japan is a very small island. However, the 125 population, it means especially the Tokyo and Osaka covered most of part of the population. The infrastructure is really concentrated. Also, the shared culture. One of the research shows that Japan is a really high context culture. So without saying anything, we can realize something a lot. Also, the consistency in customer behavior. So it's quite unique. Just from Hokkaido north to the Okinawa in the north, we are very similar customer behavior. And the concentrated media environment is also good for the marketing. This is quite unique as well. Finally, high brand loyalty. Once we realize the service is good, so then we tend to keep using the same services. Okay, so then I will have some quiz about Japan. So how much do you know about the Japanese unique culture? So this is a circle. Do you know how to pronounce circle in Japanese? So it's an. But we have the same pronunciation is used to represent Japanese yen. Yeah, Japanese yen from the circle. And also the word connection, relationship is also we said an. So I know you don't understand what I mean. Anyway, second question. Do you know how Japanese people learn to drive? So the global the standard is just before having the license, you try to drive on the road. But Japanese use a driving school. So there are many famous car manufacturers in Japan. However, it's really restrictive. So then the way of learning how to drive is strange compared to the global standard. The last question. Do you know what time of year is the entrance ceremony for schools? So in the US, it's September. The other Asian countries, July or June. So April is the answer. This is a really important aspect of the marketing. The fiscal year of the government and some public organizations use April as the start of the fiscal year. It means sometimes US people come to Japan, so then you say the Q1, but it means from January to March. But some companies in the US start from February, but most of the 70 or to 80% of Japanese companies set April as start of the fiscal year. It is really important because we need to provide information quarter 3. It means from October to January, because most of companies start budgeting in quarter 4. I mean January to April. Without knowing such a fact, it's really difficult to struggle the Japanese market, right? So some issues in the cloud market. We have 6, today I will show the 6 issues. At first, shortage of human resources, and avoiding labor laws, and too much information, lack of technical knowledge among decision makers, and a conservative personality and right or wrong mentality. And finally, business custom in the Japanese market. Let me take that water first. Yep. At first, shortage of human resources. The data is from one of the ministries. From 2015 to 2030, the green line shows actual personnel supply, the fact, and the estimation. But red mark is the index as 2015 will be the 100. So then finally 2030 it will be achieved the 160. The yellow belt shows the personnel shortage. So a lot of human resources. Always we ask to the customer, do you have enough human resources? Always the answer is yes. So they lack the human resources. However, this is not only the problem. Surely the hiring problem always exists. But this problem is not that should hire more people, because we have the restriction of this missile under the law. I don't read this text, just to show the Japanese labor protection laws. Due to those labor protection law, it's difficult to fire under the law. So as a result, in Japan, the special business model exists. So SIR, it's a system integrator, but they can be the good work because the project hires many people, but it's quite fragile. It may be working on smoothly. However, suddenly it finished, it closed the project. So then the Japanese labor protection law is a point. So then we need a human resources buffer. So the system integrator can be the subcontracting company. It means, so project close, then layoff is forbidden. But company contract, termination of the contract is possible. But in that case, the initiative will be held by the operating company. It's a subcontracting company. So to survive them, the hiring technical know-how will be their survival method. This is not good for the market expansion. So we want to proceed or expand more technologies in Japan. But this will be one of the obstacles. So the ambidexterity will be the key word in the world. So the recent world marketing management trend, the exploitation is to find a new business chance. So this is a business development. And also, we need to do the exploitation to proceed business efficiency. So maximize square of the triangle. So the companies that can do both will survive. This is so the exploitation will be replaced by the bot or in the future or the SaaS. And only the human can do this the exploitation, including in the failure. This is a research by the Tashman O'Reilly in the US. So then, to compare with a global standard and the Japanese situation, we need SaaS. So, excuse me, sorry. This is to improve business efficiency. As I mentioned, business efficiency replaced by the bot. This can be the SaaS. So business development should be the human, and the business efficiency is by SaaS. So the increasing in the SaaS has led to more information, but this will be the next problem. Yeah, too much information. It means previously the computer game existed by the Nintendo or something. So then we wanted to play all of the games. But after that, too many games. So then suddenly we gave up the gathering the information. It is the same situation. If there are a few SaaS, then we try to gather the information about SaaS. But a lot of SaaS exists, too much SaaS. So then people gave up gathering the information recently. So then we need a sommelier of technologies. The optimization of technology selection or understanding of latest technology trends, simplification of complex technologies, security risk management technologies as well. Yeah, just a moment for the taking drink. It's quite dry with a So the tech sommelier should be a cloud integrator. So we need to combine some AWS technologies or SaaS. Or such kind of the combination to find either the wine and cheese or wine and some meat or fish or such kind of combination is really important to do that. And when we visit customers or clients, so then we try to ask them, do you have any problem? So then the customer says always, no, we don't have any problem. Yeah, no problem at all. So it means they are not aware of the problem. However, once we introduce some cases of other companies, so then they realize the answer will be, we have the same problem. So such kind of the information, before visiting, they didn't know they have a problem. But once we introduce, they realize. Yeah, sometimes customers don't realize the problem themselves. So, lack of technical knowledge among decision makers can be the next problem. Non-technical decision makers driving technology adoption. Yeah, for example, the computer game industry, the game creators are really good at making games. However, their knowledge is focused to the game creation. So producer doesn't know the APIs, database, or serverless technologies, or cache, or any other. So then, learn the essentials in the executive session. It's okay. So that do you remember the driving school? So that is a kind of the culture how to learn. And also the approval process is very long. The engineers participate some seminars. And also, they take it back to the company and share the knowledge. So then in the US, the final decision maker gives the signature, that's all. So then it's quite quick. However, in Japan, we use a stamp. But the stamp is really difficult. They start the stamp, the rally. Engineer placed some proposal to use the new technologies. So then team leader acknowledge, then manager acknowledge, then senior manager acknowledge. Finally, director proceed the go or no go. And the process can take up to a month or more sometime. So we need to explain more detail about the technology to make it easier. So what level of explanation is needed? For example, normally the cloud computing technology is compared with traditional technology on-premise, right? So on-premise became the modern technology as a cloud. But decision maker cannot understand this explanation. So then we use other infrastructure, for example, the water. Previously, the water, what was the situation? We use a well, needed to dig a well. Or expansion, we need to find other water resources. However, recently, we can use water pay-per-use. So on-premise server or the well will be on the balance sheet. However, the pay-per-use based the water will be the profit and loss. So this kind of the explanation is required. Also, different types of the explanation. That we use the metaphor for the client side. We use a PC or mobile. So this is having the service. So then the software or app. AWS is kind of the dishes, the size, materials. So the wooden dishes or paper dishes or just stainless metal dishes as well. And also size, small one or large one or something. So then this is years or past. But backend API, each business company need to focus to or concentrate a certain area. So then they need to cook the background APIs. The SaaS is pre-made product. So just use microwave. So then it's possible to use. So the business company focus to their business. That's why they need to make the APIs, their own APIs. But the other part, so the identification or security or any other professional area should be applied for the SaaS. And then the data analytics, the data analysis is required as well. Yeah, such kind of explanation with metaphor is required. And also with quite easy metaphor or such kind of the explanation, they misunderstand about the cost. So they say reasonable. This is a reasonable cost. So the recent trend as a business, we use machines or something. But do you think is it expensive? But this may happen we proceed the business, so then we need to invest certain machines to expand or to earn some crops or something in this case. But there's some decision maker who didn't know about the technology tend to think about a reasonable cost. This is in order to avoid this, it's better to gather the people involved. So the business company, decision maker, and the subcontracting company, and AWS or ISV partners, and we cloud integrator on the table at once. And this is also, this kind of the meeting shouldn't be the Zoom or something. Meeting should be held face-to-face. I ask to you as well, have you ever been to the concert or music live? And also, have you ever been to watch the music video? You can realize a lot of information is lost. So then, the face-to-face communication is really important. We try to gather everything related with some decision making. And also, the conservative personality and right or wrong mentality can be the problem. No one wants to be the first penguin in Japan. So they always ask us, are we the first? So people are waiting for someone to jump in the water. So the bigger company, the more they fear failure. Without explanation of the past case, it's okay in the case of the US. Without the case, consideration will stop. And also, once someone starts introducing, nobody wants to be the last one as well. They want to be on trend. Yeah, and finally, I will introduce business customs in Japanese market as well. Invoicing will be the problem. Yeah, so the AWS we use a credit card for payment, but a credit card are not widely used in business situation in Japan yet. So then, invoicing is really important. Yeah, invoices are preferred for the payment. And also the credit card should be deducted suddenly on a certain date, but invoicing can have a certain time. Also the foreign exchange can be the problem. The pricing in the US is fixed. However, the Japanese currency is dynamically moved. So the data shows from 2019 to 2024, from November to November. However, due to the exchange rate fractions, we had 1.6 times compared with 4 years ago. Hesitating they are making to purchase even if it was the same price. So then I want to ask to some SaaS providers, don't chase the dot, chase the surface. It means a big deal can be make a profit enough, and it is good for you. However, the market reputation will be the company's product is really expensive. On the other hand, we try to expand, so then the market suitable price is required. Yeah, it means appropriate pricing is expected. So the community is quite similar as in the US. That we teach each other and also try to have exchange information, organize some the user group activities. In Japan, the Japan AWS user group shows JOES as well, is really active. Not only that, the serverless technologies or certain SaaS technologies, they gather the communication, they gather the community occasionally. So then, Yokoto-san has already introduced the Developers I/O. This is our tech blog site. Its monthly page view is 3.2 million. The 1 million unique users, and over 40,000 blog posts already posted. And this time reinvent. So then this is a kind of the festival. So then there are a lot of my colleagues keep posting a lot of blogs as well. And this is really good for the technology users. This can be the recipe for the trial of the new technologies or how to cook or a good combination of the AWS or SaaS. Okay, so then conclusion, I showed some issues in the cloud market, the shortage of human resources, avoiding labor law, too much information, lack of technical knowledge among decision makers, the conservative personality and the right or wrong mentality, and finally, business customs in the Japanese market. And also our session objectives was understanding the initiatives of a Japanese cloud integrator and learn what SaaS companies need to be aware of when entering the Japanese market. So please come to Japan to integrate your cloud, join our circle or community along with N connection. Yeah, thank you for having time.